Hey everybody, Z here. So, I just got done watching The Vast of Night, which is a 1950s horror movie, I guess. It has things to do with UFOs, aliens, that kind of stuff. I won't get into spoilers. I'll just kind of say, what's available in trailers that you should probably already know, or at least hear to get interested in the movie. So I'm going to run through a little bit of how the movie goes at the beginning. The movie opens up with a television screen that slowly pans in or zooms in and gives you the title of the movie as the title of the show. And as it zooms in, it cuts to a character. One of the main characters' name is Everett. He's walking into a stadium where a basketball game is about to take place. Instantly, he shows off his attributes of being a quick-witted, silver-tongued radio broadcasting personality.
Sister was just giving you to talk about her. No, she wasn't. Oh, yes, she was. In her car with Millie right while I was walking up.
And after some strange conversations about a chipmunk eating wires, another character is introduced, who is Faye. She's a young, intelligent, but naive girl who has admiration for Everett and his ability to talk into a microphone and, be snap, 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 constantly saying shit that you want to hear, right? So that's really all I can say, other than there's something in the sky, woo! That's all I can really say on it. But I'll get into some of the things I liked about the movie in specific. Overall, I would say it's an average movie. This is an Amazon Prime original, so take that how you will. There's lots of good shots in it. One that comes to mind is I believe it's a long shot. There could be cut in there somewhere, but it takes place in one side of this town, and it zooms all the way to the other side of the town. I guess I should have mentioned that, but they're in like a small town called Chagaway, I believe. Something to do with Elvis, I don't know. And it goes from one part of the town and then zooms to the other part of the town. And it goes through the stadium, through some forestry, It's just really cool. It's a nice shot. The characters themselves are pretty good. I think Faye is slightly flawed with something that she does over and over again, and it gets to be like, why are you doing this again? But I'll get into that in spoiler section. Everett, I think he sells it completely. He's whoever acted him out did it damn near perfect in my opinion. I mean, I completely bought, what he was going for, and he sold it to me. While the cinematography is good, there is some strange editing choices that they made. In particular, while dialogue is going on, they will suddenly fade to black.
But he only knew pieces. See, everybody only knows pieces in the military. Nobody knows the whole thing. And that's part of the plan, which is why they piece together teams from all over the country and only brought us in for one task at a time. So no one would know everything.
And wait, I'm sorry, you're going to have to be clearer. Is this sound a military sound?
And there'll just be no visuals whatsoever for 45 seconds or so. And then they'll cut back to some visuals of, what's going on in the moment. And it'll just fade out to black again. All while someone's like talking to another character. I don't understand why they did that. It almost seems like they were going to put something there, but they just didn't have the budget to, or whatever the case may be. There's just nothing, there's no visuals. It's just someone's talking to another person, and you hear it throughout the entire thing, and you have a shot of Everett, and then it just goes black. And then you see Everett again after like a minute, and then it goes black. And then you see Everett again, and then there's a weird TV overlay, and then it goes black. I don't get it. And aside from that, sometimes the TV overlay just pops in out of nowhere. And it kind of like takes you out of it. I guess they're trying to reinforce the point that it's a TV movie thing, but I don't know. For me personally, I think they should have went without that, because then it kind of like you kind of get unimmersed into the story when you just have this weird TV overlay that happens. The setting is wonderful. Like I said earlier, it's 1950 small town. It's pretty cool. Not really much else I can say on that. If that seems like your kind of thing, like Fallout, imagine some shit from Fallout. If you like that, you'll probably like the setting of the movie. And see, I say this movie is average because one of the biggest problems that this movie has is too much dialogue. There's too much nonsense that happens, and the movie never really gets to the point until it wants to get to the point, and when it does, it happens within like 30 seconds. So it'll be people talking, and that happens for a good 20 minutes or so, and then they're like, oh, we need to progress the plot after 15 minutes of these people talking. And it's like, okay, let's do it. And then it's like a 30-second montage of them getting to the place and doing something, and then it's another 30 minutes of exposition on what's happening that they're not seeing, and it just gets kind of old towards the end. You're like, you really want to like it. I really wanted to like it, and I did like it for like the first 40-ish minutes, I'll say. For the first 40 minutes, I was really into it, but towards the end, I was like, ugh, you know, this is not going anywhere. And when they do, they don't show what is going on, per se. As vague, I'm making it as vague as I can. But, you know, I'm not going to do a rating because I don't really see the point in ratings. You know, it's like, it's average. So what, that would be like a 5 out of 10? Something like that. I don't know how that whole system works. IGN ruined it for me. But yeah. So, thanks for listening to me babble on. And I'm telling you what, right now, the spoiler section is probably going to be the majority of this video because I don't know how to talk about movies without just spoiling what the fuck is happening and giving my thoughts. So, alright. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, but you wanted to hear this part for whatever reason, thank you. Talk at you later. Goodbye. Alright, spoiler section here. So like I said, the movie opens up. It's 1950s, television set, movie title, Fallout, blah, blah, blah. So Everett, like I said, walks into the stadium. He has a weird conversation about chipmunks that have chewed the wires, and it's happened before, but some people don't think it's chipmunks. They think it's something else, and they're like, they said another animal, though. They didn't say chipmunks. Like, nah, chipmunks are cute. And then, you meet Faye, and they just walk around recording people because she wants to be like Everett. And they just walk around for like 10 minutes just putting a microphone in people's face. And it has some funny-ish dialogue to it. She thinks that Roger is Bacon 124. It's funny, I guess. I mean...
Because if it gets dropped, I have to pay for it. Bacon, 940.
What is that?
I heard it in a war movie.
They don't say bacon 940 during the war.
Well, maybe we're thinking about different wars.
No, this is not war radio. You gotta say something buzzing.
Like, the first time you hear it, they say it a couple more times. Eventually, Faye walks her home. Or not home. Faye walks her to a operator booth, or center, which is where her mother works. And her mother, she just got a new job at night, or something like that, works nights. So, Faye is left to attend to the operations center by herself. And Everett, he's like, alright, see you later, kid. I gotta go do my radio shit. And he pieces out. He's like, fuck that. Have fun with your fucking operating booth, dude. He's gone, man. He's about to go do what he does best, and damn does he do it. So, you know, Faye's just doing her thing. She's like, oh, I want to listen to the radio. She turns on the radio. She starts plugging in things like, hello, what's your fucking number that you want to hear? And she gets like a weird call, and it's just like, blah, 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 blah. Just, what the fuck is happening? And the fucking radio start going all, wicka, wicka, wicka. It doesn't sound like that, but that's the best way I could describe it. I can't make static sounds in my mouth. And it goes all fucking crazy, right? And she's like, oh shit, what the fuck? This is weird. These calls keep getting cut off and having weird static and sounds. The radio just got cut off. It's having weird static and sounds. And so she's like, all right, I gotta talk to some people. She starts calling a few people she knows. And one of them's like, just call Everett and tell him about the station being, or the radio station being weird. So she calls and she's like, hey, you know, there's some weird broadcasts that are happening over your broadcast. Do you want to hear them? And he's like, oh, you know, I'm busy with the show, but yeah, I'll make some good radio. Go ahead, man. And so she plugs him in so he can hear it. And he's like, wow, yeah, that's weird. I'm going to play this on the radio, so don't call me for like 10 minutes. And he does that, and he's like, hey, everybody. So this weird fucking broadcast sound is happening. Let me know if you fucking have heard it and know what it's all about. And so, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And Faye eventually gets a call from a dude named Billy. And she's like, all right, I'll plug you into Billy. You can talk to him. You're going to get a piece of Elvis's carpet. And so you fucking plugs him into the fucking station. And Billy goes on to tell him about his time in the military. I think it was the Air Force in specific, where they would have black men excavate. They took a bunch of black dudes, and they're like, excavate this fucking piece of metal in the ground. And people start getting sick for whatever reason. And I'll just say it now. It's because nobody cares about the black people in the 1950s, or they wouldn't listen to them. I just got the fucking shit scared out of me by my notifications. So nobody would listen to black people in the 1950s, according to the movie. And it's like, okay, so they're the best candidates. They're going to just die off if it's dangerous. They're not going to be listened to by any white people. And, you know, it's hard work, so let them do it. And something a bit strange and kind of like out of nowhere happens in the movie, where he just straight up apologizes to Everett. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry, I should have told you I was black. And Everett's like, I kind of expected that you were black just by hearing you. It's cool, man, I don't care. It's okay that you're black, dude. I don't know why you're telling me this in specific, but you know, he kind of like follows it up with that whole, you know, that's the kind of people. It was black people and Mexicans. And anyways, towards the end of the conversation, he says that, and this is Billy and a few other people from his group received recordings from somebody. I can't remember. It was someone that was also in the military. And one of the people that had gotten the recordings was actually lived in the town that Everett and Faye live in, Chagaway or something like that. And so Faye, she knew exactly where the tape was. Like, oh, he died recently, but he gave all his tapes to the library, so I'm going to the library. And she just runs out the fucking place, steals a bike, and rides off to the library. And this takes like, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds of her just like going to the library. Whereas the whole conversation with Billy, this is the conversation I was talking about earlier, where it would fade in, and it would be like Everett talking to Billy, and then it would fade out, and there'd be no visuals whatsoever, and then it would fade in, and they're like, fuck, dude, these motherfuckers are killing me. And then it would fade back out, and there's just nothing happening. So, anyways, so they had a good 15 minutes of them talking about that, and then Faye just runs out, gets the bike, goes to the library, gets the tapes, and it's like 45 seconds. And then she walks outside again, and Everett shows up, and fucking, you know, he just stole a car. So she stole a bike, he stole a car, and he just pulls up. He's like, get in this bitch. We're going back to the station, the fucking broadcasting station. So they ride back to the station and attempt to go through all the tapes, because Billy can't go on the line, you know, since Faye isn't at the operation center. She can't plug it in. Have him talk to Everett. Can't have Billy talk to Everett. So after going through like 20 tapes and talking about their lives, they finally find it and they play it on air. And as soon as they're playing it on air, the power goes out. Whoosh. And they walk outside, and Faye's like, "Oh shit, I'm supposed to be at the board," which I think specifically that should have been on her mind because they couldn't get Billy on the line. You know, so that should have been on her mind that she was supposed to be at the switchboard. And she was kind of just like, "Oh shit, I gotta go to the switchboard," and she runs away. But Everett, he just rides up. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get in my car." And she's like, "Oh, that's probably a good idea." And she gets in the car and they just go to the station, right? So together they go to the station. It's finally revealed, you know, after she starts talking to a bunch of people. She's like, "Oh, she said there's something in the sky." And they're like, "Oh, something in the sky?" And they're like, "Oh shit, hey, this bitch wants to talk to you, Everett." And so she gives like the headset to Everett, and he's like, "Hello?" And there's this woman who's like, "Oh, sweetie, I have all the details, and I'll tell you all of them if you'll come to my house. I know everything about them." And so he's like, "This is weird, but yeah, I'll go. Well, I mean, why not? I want to figure this out." And so, it's good radio. So now that they're frightened and everything, that there's something in the sky, they walk outside and instantly get into a weird four-way argument with two other people. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. They're all yelling over each other. I don't know who these two people are, by the way. They just fucking roll up in a red-ass car and start yelling at each other.
Please, sorry for the wait. All right, thank you. Goodbye. Thank you, goodbye. People are saying there's something in the sky.
7:45. Write that down.
Can't you just record it?
Yeah, folks. It is 7:45 p.m. and we may have something that we need some explaining. What?
There is something in the sky. We followed it from Colt Canyon. I'm Bertie. This is
I'm going by Gerald now. Please call me Gerald.
I'm Everett. This is Faye. We just had the power cut off at the radio station.
You heard the radio station?
Yeah, I do. However, it hits from 7 to 11. Are you listening?
80 miles an hour all the way from that hole.
Yeah, he does the old stuff. I didn't do
And they're like, "All right, well, we got to go to this old lady's house." They're like, "All right, we'll be here watching the operation station." And they just fucking drive off to this old lady's house. And this old woman conversation, I ain't gonna lie, I don't remember it too well. So I'll just give you the important parts that I did remember. Essentially, this woman somehow found or knew about this woman who came off a train, and she was speaking some gibberish when she got off it and she couldn't get better. And then she met a dude and got pregnant. He left, but she had a baby, or she had the baby, and then the baby started speaking some weird language like ooga blugga 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 blugga, and then he walked out the house. That's all I remember about it. That was pretty much it. The woman is more like schizophrenic than anything, because then she starts going on and saying stuff like, "Oh, all the wars happen because of the aliens. They're controlling our brains." You know, like some straight up Alex Jones type shit.
And then they would like give them technology. They go, "This is how it works. You build the atomic weapons this way. You build it." And they would like show them bombers, and like the aliens are like telepathic. I don't even believe this. This is what the Nazis believe. And the aliens would mind meld and give them the technology. They're bad aliens.
So
are you surprised the Nazis were influenced by demons?
No, if demons are real, I would definitely think they'd be on the side of the Nazis.
Yeah.
You know, everything's because of the aliens. They're controlling our brains. And Everett's pissed off because she just wasted 15 minutes of his time and our fucking time, the viewers. And he just was like, "Man, fuck you. I'm up out of here. I got better shit to do." And then Faye is like, "Oh shit, I got a baby at the house. It's my sister." And she runs out and she just runs away. Like, she just straight up runs away. And Everett's like, "Oh, god damn it, Faye, you run away again." And he gets in this car, he starts chasing her. He's like, come back. But she outruns the fucking car, and she gets to the house, and then she goes inside like, "Come here, baby." And then she runs back out again, and runs to a person's house that she talked to earlier. Her name was like Ethel or something. And he's like, Ethel, I'm gonna steal your dad's camera. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are you holding the baby? Like, the babysitter never, or maybe it was, I think Ethel was supposed to babysit the baby, but then disappeared. But anyways, whoever this woman is, she's like, why are you holding a baby? He's like, Ethel didn't come and babysit the baby, or she's gone or something. He's like, okay, steal the camera, whatever, dude. I don't know what's going on. And then you hear Everett from outside being like, hey, get big in this car. We got shit to do. And she's like, all right. And she goes outside and gets in the car. Or she goes outside, and then the other two people pull up from earlier. And they're like, hey, there's something fucking on the edge of the forest. It's the thing in the sky. It's by the edge of the forest. And they're like, oh, damn, we got to go there. So they all get in the car. And then the two people at the front, it's the two people that they were arguing with earlier. They just fucking fall asleep at the wheel. And they're like, beep, beep, and fucking almost crash into some shit, right? And they're like, oh my God. And Faye starts crying. She runs out the car with the baby and runs into the woods. And she just lays there and cries for like a minute. And Everett's like, why are you crying? Oh, hey, these trees are burnt. Hold up, there's a big old circle missing in the middle of these woods. That's weird. And then he turns around, there's a UFO hanging right above him, right? And it's hanging right above him. It's like, oh, that's a UFO. That's strange. And he looks up and there's a bigger UFO. It's the mother UFO. And he's like, oh, we're fucked. And then the scene cuts to people getting out of the basketball game, because the woman had said something earlier, like, as soon as they get out of that basketball game, you better watch them. So they get out of the basketball game and everybody's happy, but there's like this car that's open and it's right in front of the stadium. And then it cuts back to Faye and Everett, but now they're turned to ash or something. I guess they got burnt alive. Because I'm assuming that because there's two piles of ash, and the recorder thing, they were recording people with on the interview shit. They were just like recording people. It's just like burnt, and now it is in a pile of ash. So I guess they burnt to death like the trees. And that's the movie. That's how the movie went. But, you know, here's the thing. And this is what I was trying to get at in the non-spoilers section of the fucking video, is that there's just so much talking. The main problem with this movie is that it's, you know, it's never show and then talk for 20 fucking minutes and then rush a plot point and then 20 minutes more of talking and then rush a plot point because they forgot they were making a movie or something. You know, it's just like so poorly paced and there's just too much dialogue. They don't show you anything. You don't see anything until the very end, when you see like UFOs for 3 minutes and then the movie's over basically. So it's like at first it works. At first it works because it's like, oh shit, that's creepy, man. These people saying there's shit in the sky, man. We gotta be careful. We gotta be fucking careful. We can't be seeing no stuff in the sky now. But then you never do see the stuff in the sky except for the last 3 minutes where it's like the movie's over. You can't even like build off of how creepy this is. It's just like you see it and then they die. There's no, like, the build-up section of the movie was the entire movie except for the last 5 minutes of it. 10, 5, something like that. So the whole movie's build-up and not even very good payoff because it's like UFOs, you know, that's it. There's no like crazy design. They're like generic UFOs floating in the sky and then the main characters die. There's like no payoff to the fucking hour and 30 minutes of build-up. But that being said, the movie does have good points, you know. Good cinematography, it looked good. I like the setting. Reminded me of Fallout. And I don't know. That's pretty much all I have to say about the movie. It's alright, it's average. That's all I can really say. It's average. It is an average movie. Doesn't have that many strong points. Doesn't have too many weak points. The fact that Faye runs away like 4 or 5 times, I think it's like 3 or 4, just to progress the plot. Comes off as annoying, which is the annoying thing about her character. But whatever. Anyways, that's my stupid review of the movie. So, all right, goodbye.